actually more generous when you weren't trying to get money out of them.
Do you think that Rancid has like a big hate following because they are probably the biggest, like I would say they're probably the biggest, most known name punk rock group? Do you think they get a lot of hate for that, or do you think people still like in the scene? Because you're in the scene. I'm not really in the scene. I just like punk. You're in the punk rock scene, kind of. Do you think that there's hate towards them?
Oh, most definitely. I'm not sure if it's so warranted. I feel like people feel a little betrayed once you cross this certain threshold and start booking shows where there's big sponsors and, you're charging kind of more than, a normal, one of the smaller, maybe semi-big bands would charge. And then people start to not, they kind of drift away from you. But then you also have to realize that Rancid is one of your kind of gateway bands.
Exactly.
It's one, when you first start,
yeah.
You hear Rancid, Misfits, No Effects. Those are kind of a Bad Religion. Those are your cluster of your big ones, and and Ramones and Sex Pistols and the Clash and stuff. Those are really big too, even though they don't get as much hate.
You know why they don't get as much hate? Because they're more like the Ramones are considered more classic punk because they've been around a lot longer, and Rancid is more of a modern punk, right? So I think that Rancid, even though they get maybe some less following in the punk rock scene, they also get new followers. And I think a lot of that's really just jealousy. I think it comes down to being a little bit jealous that they're not doing what they're doing. And
it might be.
Because Rancid, they're still punk rock. And they had a song that was on MTV and they had music videos and shit, but it was fucking good.
Yeah, well, we did have, in the mid-90s, there was a little bit of a punk revival hitting in the mainstream. And what happened is that The Offspring came out, and they were on Epitaph Records, and so Rancid was able to branch out from that record label and get onto the mainstream stuff.
Gotcha.
And so people started listening to it like that. You generally weren't in the scene. They're just like, I just like this. And because I remember in high school when Out Come the Wolves came out, and I'm like, this is amazing. I love this. And No Effects gets dogged on really bad too. I had Fat Mike come to my work and stay there because he was developing a punk rock play with his ex-wife, and I was having conversations with her about, when he did like a Rock Against Bush campaign, and people were giving him shit for that, and then people kind of were being dickish in a way because they got so big, and he's got the big label, like he's got Fat Records that he founded, and the love kind of went away, and some people really only listen to the earlier stuff and then won't touch the later stuff. I love it all. I'm not too big on the like, you sold out, I don't like you anymore.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, there's something about you that I love. I listened to you when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and I still love that stuff. But even though I branch off to a whole bunch of different kinds of genres, like within punk.
I wouldn't even say Offspring was really punk. I mean, they were, but I don't consider... they definitely have a punk feel. I don't consider them punk, and everyone can fucking hate me for that. That's fine. I don't. I mean, they came out Pretty Fly for a White Guy, which was not punk at all, I wouldn't say. But I was never really a big fan of The Offspring. Like, they were always okay to me, but I never really liked them like them. I mean, maybe for I bought their CD to be cool because all my friends had their CD, so I had to go buy it. What was it called? Smash or something like that?
Yeah, that was one of them. That was pretty
They had a song or two I think I liked. And anyways, enough about The Offspring. The biggest sellout, I'm going to say, is fucking Green Day. Those, I don't even like them anymore. I like Nimrod's the last album, and Dookie was their best. Dookie was a great album. I loved Nimrod because I was at that age in high school when it came out. And we're the same age.
Yeah, I got into them middle school. Dookie came out, and then a friend of mine listened to the first two albums, the 10,000 Smooth Out Sloppy Hours and Kerplunk. And then Dookie came out and they hit it big. and that made me go back and listen to those 2 albums. But by the time I got to high school, I had fallen off that train. But I fell into other types of punk music, and now I have no idea what the hell they are. The last album they came out with, I was very confused.
I changed my 45-minute podcast to whatever the fuck I want podcast. And so I lose track of time. I don't have to pay attention to the time anymore. I'm always like, we got 20 minutes left. We got 10 minutes left. We got 5 minutes left. Now we got fucking whenever we want to stop left. So, but I know you got something to do at 10:30 your time. So let's play Dead City Riot, progeny of a great censorship.
Yes.
I almost said progeny again. I'm not that great with words. Oh, you know what? Let's play it right now. I definitely feel that there is a lot of Sonorous Rising, like, inside of Dead City Riot. I don't know if it's because you guys have one of the same band members, but there's definitely, you guys have a very similar sound. I wouldn't call it reggae black metal, though, either.
Well, I would say that Vinny is a big part of the songwriting. I mean, she's got her own songs that she brings in, I bring in my own. But I think maybe because of her style, when she's playing along with stuff, and then I guess my singing may be a little bit like Matt's as well, and I didn't even realize it, but I absolutely loved his voice. And I still listen to the 2 albums that they came out with quite a bit.
I want to talk about a couple different things, but I do want to bring up Blink-182 for a second.
Oh.
Because, okay, here, I know you're already like, oh, fuck, whatever. Listen, Those guys did start off though kind of very punk rock, with
They did.
like take off your pants and jacket, and they had like the what was that album called? Was it Hey Dude or Dude something? Whatever their one of the first albums were. Was it Damn It? I think Damn It was on it. Did you listen? I mean, because they were not pop. When they came out, they were not pop punk.
I did not. I did have a good friend of mine in high school that absolutely loved the band, and I didn't know what it was. So he had a sweatshirt and t-shirts and stuff, and it was before that whole pop punk revival thing came out and like hit the mainstream, because it was like maybe my senior year or right after my senior year of high school is when, you know, like the bands like Newfound Glory and Blink-182 were all over MTV and the radio all the time. But I was always into really early pop punk because, you know, I mean, the Ramones are the original pop punk.
Right. Yes, I would say that's true. They were I wouldn't say they were the original pop punk. I would say they were the original punk that other bands kind of went off of and maybe split direction.
Yeah.
Because they weren't really pop, they were just their own thing. And by the way, their first album was called that I know of. I'm sure it wasn't their first album, was Dude Ranch. But the thing is, they may get a lot of hate from going from that to their other albums and what they do now. They even have Matt Skiba in their band from Alkaline Trio.
Yeah.
Right?
I had the pleasure of meeting Matt Skiba.
But
that musical that Fat Mike did at my work, Matt Skiba ended up coming and being one of the actors in it. So
okay.
I had the pleasure of talking with him. Very, very nice guy. That's one thing I have to say.
I think Blink-182 gets hate, but I don't think that Matt Skiba or Travis Barker get hate. Like, I think the band as a whole gets hate, generally speaking. But
Travis Barker always gets a fucking pass. I mean, everybody loved it when he went and did the transplants with Tim
that was
Armstrong.
dope. That was fucking dope. Gangsters and thugs. Whatever the fuck it was.
And then you also have what's funny is that I don't know if you've heard of the band The Interrupters.
Oh, I love The Interrupters. They are so good. Their
guitar player was in transplants.
Okay, look. I want to say one thing about punk rock. And this stands true for definitely punk rock and metal. Not so. I mean, I still like it with metal, but punk rock 100%. When there is a female lead vocalist in a punk rock band, I love that more than a male vocalist in a punk rock band. And the Interrupters have that, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys,
Amy Interrupter.
You guys have that. Tsunami Bomb has that. You know, it's with metal, I don't mind it. I don't dislike it. Someone asked me if I didn't like female singers and like asked me because they want to be on my podcast. I was like, no, I don't care if you're a girl or a guy or fucking anything in between. If your band sounds good, I'm gonna play it. But I particularly like female singers in punk bands. I think it goes good with the style of music. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's not so like. With metal, you have more of a drop D, maybe, and maybe it's a little lower. But with with punk rock, you have a lot more of those higher guitar ranges, and maybe a female's voice sounds better. I don't know what it is, but I do like a female's voice a girl's voice when I hear punk rock. I can't help that. Is that? And I think there's a lot more women vocalists in punk rock bands.
I overall no, but I think that in recent years, it's definitely more of a female presence. I just remember like 20 years ago going to some even just local shows and feeling like my gender was completely misrepresented. Like it was the majority, maybe one female musician would be up there and 4 bands played. But now when I go, I definitely see maybe not always punk women singers, but there's, you know, one of the instruments is played by a female. That's why I liked the Damn Broads so much, because it was all girls and they were all badass.
Yeah.
They were great. And that was, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to sing in a punk band, because I don't know, there just needs to be more girls.